Hello, 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 welcome back to the Winds of Change, and today we're going to be doing a quest. The thing is, where I've already grabbed the quest, I feel like this episode is going to be a lot shorter, even though it's such a small part. So, yeah, even though we heard it at the end of the last episode, just to get us into the mood, I'm going to read this quest description, okay? So, yesterday we spoke to Store Honor up at Airy. The Ministry of Purity tried to pacify them, to take them away. We made the Ministry's motives clear to the Tengu, so we, alongside the Angchu, fought off a huge group of the Ministry, which really, you'll find out, there's nothing but antagonizes in the Ministry and really causes a lot more of what's going to happen later. Anyway, so, yeah, we spoke to Saw immediately after, and he said, hello, friend. I'm sorry if I seem preoccupied, but my mind has been dwelling on some tragic affairs. Thanks to your assistance, our village... Oh, yeah, by the way... completing that quest doesn't actually get rid of the ministerial decree, and I promise you, you do not need it anymore. Just delete it. It's just more clutter for your inventory. I've got so much clutter in here, actually. Need to sort out. Anyway, right, so thanks to your assistance, our village is safe for the time being, but I can't help but think of those who live on the mainland within the Roost. If Reiko's decree spoke the truth, my kin are being imprisoned there, awaiting a fate no honourable Tengu deserves. I simply cannot bear the thought of my people suffering at the hand of these zealots. Under normal circumstances, I would rally the strongest among us, sail across the sea, and rescue our people. I trying. What I wanted to mention yesterday actually is I really like this idea of them having to sail across the sea. It's not an impression you really get very much outside of Nightfall, of like people actually needing a navy to actually transport their troops and mount some kind of an attack. Obviously that's a big part of what it means to be in Istan, because they're famed for their navy, but yeah, you don't really hear it elsewhere, and I like that little reference because it's one of those small little details that I completely didn't consider because I'm so used to just map traveling everywhere. But yeah, the idea is they would need these boats. Anyway, and rescue our people or die trying, but with a sincerely stirred up by the Ministry's actions and the Ministry themselves just waiting for the right moment to quietly dispose of our tribe, I cannot leave our home unprotected for that long. Perhaps you can help. If you could join me in a small rescue party, I could leave the bulk of my forces behind to protect the village. I do not want to put more of my people in danger, but I also cannot abide the Ministry's imprisoning of innocent Tengu. So the story is, there was a place that the Tengu, sorry, used to live at in Kaineng Center called the Roost. It was a very small place. It didn't have much population of the Tengu, but we knew about it 7, 8 years ago now, and we kind of visited it. But now, apparently, the Ministry have actually turned this place that they live into a holding camp for the Angchu, while they pretty much annihilate all of the Zinsali, and then when they've got all the Angchu where they want them, I don't know, I get the impression that they would gas them or something, but that's kind of what we've got here. Am I not in hard mode? I'm not in hard mode. There we go, far better. So, yeah, we're going to go to this place along with Saw, the people of the area, and try and figure out what's going on. Is it customary of your people to stand around in a time of urgency? You'll see the Tengu, they suffer the same problem that the Ministry do, in that they have a lot to say, but they say it so quickly and it's always so crowded up you can barely pick out a lot of the stuff they're saying. So, why have your people betrayed us? There is some interesting stuff in there, though, so if you do keep your eye out, you might find something cool. Saw meets us, he says, you're here. Sorry, she says you're here, actually, it is a girl. She says, you're here, and for that I thank you, but enough talk, we must go free my people. You'll find something about the Angchu, well, the Tengu in general, actually. The way they talk, they've got a very kind of Japanese kind of feel about them. They're very much about honor. I think they're supposed to be based on like the samurai. I know nothing about Japanese culture, but I think they're supposed to be based something on like the samurai mindset, and that's kind of what motivates them to do stuff. So like if you read the way that they're talking, that's kind of what it's based off of. And in Guild Wars 2, when you hear them speak, they're actually like, "It is a pleasure to meet you." It's brilliant. They sound just like that. So it's really cool now to be able to come back in Guild Wars 1 and read all of the dialogue like that and be like, "Oh, that's so cool." Anyway, if I press P, oh no, that hasn't happened yet. Okay, well we've got a huge arse group of Tengu with us, like a massive group of Tengu, and it will only get bigger. This is one of those quests where if you like seeing that you've got a huge party window, you'll love what's coming. You really will. Minion Masters excel here because there's just going to be so many corpses. It's a pretty chaotic. It's a cool quest as well because there's a lot of fighting to be done. But it's in such vast numbers, it's a lot of fun, and it's not necessarily hard either if you know specifically what you want to try and do. Here, I would definitely recommend pulling, because there's a lot of groups that will swarm in around there if you're not careful. But yeah, just consider, right, all the spirits I've got, I can't, actually, how many spirits do I have here? I'm not 100% sure. Really? I'm using a Soul Twister here? It's probably pointless. It probably is, because the spirits are just going to get wasted instantly on all the AoEs that's going off. I was thinking about this the other day, actually. Soul Twisters with Minion Masters, yes, I mentioned last time that I don't usually use them because I feel like it's a bit of a waste. But you can also look at it that, oh, well, Shelter is actually protecting the minions, so it is still getting some use. But the reason why it's somewhat worse, in my opinion, despite the fact that you are still getting some effect out of them, it's just that effect is shifted onto different characters. I'm going to die. Why did I need to get rid of Death's Charge? What's wrong with me? Oh no, alright, we're actually okay this time. The main thing is, though, the AoEs, like, let's say all the minions, just as they have here, have balled around one of these Ministry. The Ministry are using Splinter Weapon. Now, if you didn't have any minions there, that Splinter Weapon's only going to do, like, 2 hits and do 2 splashes of damage to Shelter. But with all the minions, you're getting almost, if you will, needless extra hits being taken off simply because you have so many more allies with you. I think that's the difference there. You're still getting the use out of the Shelter, but it runs out far quicker when really it doesn't have to have been wasted during those times, if that makes any sense. So I do still think it's best not to maybe use both together. I mean, let's watch. So we've got Union up and it just died instantly. Displacement's up. It's actually lasting quite a while, but now that's dead. You know, it does run out quite quickly. Anyway, it's still a fantastic quest. And just look at all the minions we've got. I mean, I think it's fair to say some of these Angchu are minion masters. Oh, some of the Angchu are actually dying. Did I just see a corpse of an Angchu assassin? Yeah, look, and an Angchu assassin. Well, it is an assassin. What do you expect? Now, the quest would have you go up there, straight to the Roost, right? We're not going to do that. We're going to come over here and kill the mobs that are over here. That's because the quest is going to have us run over here in a minute. If you don't kill these mobs early enough, I'm so stupid. Just get rid of Death's Charge. If you don't kill the mobs that are over here, you actually have more to fight later. And after this next bit of the quest, you do actually have to protect some things that are in your party. So it's a very nice idea to just clear the way a little bit. It's slightly off the beaten path, but I feel like this is such an obvious tactic that ArenaNet will have considered it, and they probably expect you as the player to do it as well. It's one of those examples of a quest that you might, and I'm not saying you will, but you might fail first time through, but then you find quite quickly, sorry, I kind of yawned and burped at the same time there, but you might find quite quickly the best way to do it. I mean, that's definitely my experience of this, especially in normal mode. It was just, I failed on it. I was like, right, well, why don't I just come over here and clear the way and then go to the Roost afterwards. And it really, really does help. So that's what we're going to do here. And really, no worries at all, actually. This quest's pretty smooth sailing. One thing I did want to say, and I'm not going to give you much oh, look at all that damage. I love it. One thing I did want to say, and I'm not going to give you much information about it, but just because I kind of want to surprise people. But beta's coming up, right? And I've been thinking for a while. I've not actually been sure what I wanted to do for beta. I want to do something that's new, something that other people haven't done. I also think that there is room for some kind of extended play session. Nobody's done, like, and I'm not saying I want to do a let's play, but nobody's done like any kind of a let's play so far. I am sure that there will be people on this beta weekend that start doing let's plays of Guild Wars 2. I'm thinking I might want to be one of those, but it would be something slightly different, so that even if somebody massive, for example, did a let's play, and I might get swallowed under all the stuff that they've done and nobody really cares about what I did, what I'm planning on do will be slightly different. But I'm hoping to keep what I do in the beta quite informative, and I've got the idea of 2 different series I want to do during it. One of my favourite types of videos, I'll tell you this one actually, I don't mind spoiling this. One of my favourite types of videos to have been watching as time's gone on have been the city tours, right? When I played at Eurogamer, I had such a fantastic time walking around Divinity's Reach. Like, it was so fun. On my second character I didn't, because that was at Sparkfly Swamp, which isn't even in the beta. But so I had such a good time, and I've seen some really good city tours, but I also see a lot of stuff in those city tours where I feel like people should be seeing a lot more. Now, they've confirmed that Lion's Arch is going to be available in the next beta. So, I'm going to do a series where we go to all of those places, and it's going to be long videos. It's going to be like an hour. It's going to be a proper city tour. It's going to be everything there in one place, and it's all going to be commentated, and I'll talk about lore of the area while I go through it. I think that would be perfect. It should fit really well in, and hopefully that will be post-commentary. So that's one idea of a series I'm going to be doing. Anyway, why am I telling you this? It's because basically we've got that weekend coming, right? Which means pretty much the whole weekend I'm going to be playing Guild Wars 2, okay? Which means I can't produce Winds of Change stuff, and that was supposed to be like the last weekend. So I'm going to start doing these episodes in advance, also considering that the Guild Wars 1 anniversaries then, and there's going to be content for me to cover there too. So Winds of Change now is still going to be daily episodes for you guys, but I'm going to be making, like, I might even film more than one episode today. So that's going to happen, just so that you're aware of that. So I won't be able to, like, ask you guys questions or see your takes on certain stuff. But that's why I'm telling you that, and that's kind of my plans right now. It's very busy, but I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, right, so we come here, and the Ministry are surrounding some Angchu prisoners. An elite Ministry captain says, "Traitors, you take up arms against Cantha for these savage animals." And we say, "From where I stand, you look like the savages. What gives you the right to imprison innocent Tengu?" And the captain says, "We do what we must to keep our people safe." And Saw says, "And I must do the same for my people. Stand aside and we will leave. There is no need for more bloodshed. I am not your enemy, and I do not wish to harm you." I do not wish to harm you. Oh, that's so fucking bad with accents. You're just trying to trick me, like you've been tricking the Empire for years. Reiko knows the truth. She knows what is necessary to save Cantha. The only thing Cantha needs from saving up from is right now is Reiko. She will destroy everything that stands in her way to power. Her own personal gains. Fools! The Ministry captain says, "Enough of this. This insurrection ends now. Kill them all." And they all become hostile to us, admittedly, and that's a lot of Ministry. But we have a crap... Oh my god, Saw, careful. I think if Saw dies, that's game over straight away. But we have a crap load of Tengu allies with us now. And yes, you can pop a Tengu summoning stone at the same time. And I've done that before. I'm not going to, because actually I tend to find that you don't need it here, and I'm in reasonably short supply at the moment. So be careful of that. Something tells me that panic can sometimes go off against you here, which is... obviously, you've got a lot of allies, right? But AoE is still just as deadly as ever. You'll still get wiped out if you're not careful. And I don't think I've ever completed this without a single Angchu prisoner dying, especially in hard mode. I like to come to this group on the side here because you'll tend to have spirits left there, and it works out quite nicely because then they'll go in and they'll attack, and you can kind of get them on the corner. Especially, I'm just realising, if they ball up around on the corner here, this is a bit of a choke point for them. So getting them on that ramp here is nice. You're supposed to be like pincered in side by side. You see, I think the idea is you see the quest. No, Saw, do not die. Do not die. Actually, Saw might resurrect. Let's press L and see what happens. Escort the prisoners to the Shenzhen tunnel. At least one Tengu prisoner must survive, right? So that's kind of the situation here. Saw might be immune to dying. I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath with that, and I definitely don't want Saw to get too hurt. Yeah, so I think the idea is you're supposed to see the quest marker change and just run straight over here, and then you get caught from behind, and with that huge group coming in too. And if you haven't cleared the way already, there's very high chance that you'll aggro some of the groups that are around here too. So do what I did, and you should be fine. And like I say, this is just a really fun quest. You get so many allies with you. It's fantastic. Stuff like fallback is very nice. In fact, Wiki specifically goes out of his way to recommend it just to keep people moving. Actually, it's got some other reasons for why you might want to use it. I didn't really pay much attention, though. I've usually got fallback. I think I usually have fallback anyway. Has anyone still got fallback? Does Master of Whispers still have fallback? Oh, I don't have fallback on my team anymore. All right, well, maybe I'll add that later. But, oh yeah, I did. I think a lot of people got confused when I post my hero builds in the comments before. But look at how easy this is. See, if you've cleared the way already, there's just no risk after that initial fight. You just run over here. The game pulls a real dick move on you now. By the way, it's really annoying actually. And Saw says, "We will continue through the tunnels. I have a friend in the Imperial Guard that will help us make our way back to Xingje Island." I like how he has a friend. I wonder if he's hinting that could be Jinai. I haven't mentioned this yet. Look at all the minions. This is so cool. I haven't mentioned this yet, but I really like how there's two kind of parallel storyline going on. You've got like the sweeping movements of the Ministry of Purity and our attempts to stop those sweeping movements. And then there's a much more personal story with Miku and her own struggles, which is cool. Anyway, sorry I've been ignoring all of this. Saw says, "I don't know what the future holds for the Angchu tribe, but I thank you at least for what you've done." And we say, "Reiko will use this as evidence that all Tengu are enemies of Cantha. We know the truth about the Ministry of Purity, but in these trying times I fear Canthans will simply look at this as Tengu killing their own kind." The Saw says, I knew that going into this, but I could not forsake my kin. Our only hope is for the Emperor to regain control of his country before Reiko strikes at us." And we say, "If I have anything to say about it, that day is fast approaching." It's interesting. Oh, now all the minions are enemies to us. Actually, this will be quite fun to death bottom them. So it's like their plot of why this kind of starts with the Tengu here and why all of this fighting begins is that the Ministry were somehow going to convince people that the Angchu were against them, and Then the Angchu attacked first, so now they could use that. And now it's like, oh well, the Ministry are only retaliating to what the Angchu have done, and they kind of like it like loops on itself, if you see. And I didn't really think that was amazing. I did think when I was editing yesterday's video, however, that maybe I wasn't entirely fair about my rant, because one thing to consider here is all this Winds of Change stuff is at the end of the day just a precursor to the sweeping changes that will happen through Cantha. And nobody left a comment with this, and I was sure I was going to get a comment, somebody was going to pull me out on this, because I am kind of being a bit too harsh, because really Winds of Change is just showing what is like on its way. Wait, can I go in normal mode? And no, I probably can't. I'll have to be in hard mode. Have I got? Yeah, I've got the right guys. So it's just like leading up to it, and there could be like this will die down at the end. Okay, that's not really a spoiler. Obviously, there's going to be some kind of resolution at the end of Wind of Change. I'm not going to say specifically how neat that resolution is or what it leaves open, but this isn't the only thing that's like going to happen with the Tengu. There could quite easily be a far more convincing, far more interesting story, 50 years down the line when Yusuku's in control. Actually, saying that, I don't actually know 100% when Yusuku rises to power. In case you guys don't know, the emperors of Cantha, if you don't remember, live for hundreds of years. They live a really, really long time. They have an insanely long range, right? And the current emperor will obviously eventually die, and his son will take over from him. When we were first looking at Winds of Change and wondering what's going on with Winds of Change and what kind of stories are going to go into, we all thought it was going to be about meeting the emperor's child, Yusuku, and sort of something would happen between us and Yusuku that would cause him to become as xenophobic as he is. And the truth is, as I said, it's nothing about the emperor in the end. Winds of Change is not about it. It's about a totally different faction, the Ministry of Purity, coming to rise, and they're the ones that kind of introduce, like, sow the seeds of xenophobia in Cantha, and you don't really meet the child, but that's the story. It's not the Ministry of Purity that end up successfully kicking everything out of Cantha. It's not the Ministry of Purity that end up bringing the Kurziks and the Luxons into the fold of the Empire, and it's not the Ministry of Purity that end up cutting off all contact with the other human nations. It's not the Ministry of Purity. It's Yusuku, the Emperor's son. Wait, what is the current Emperor, Angsayang? Was that it? No, Angsayang's the guy that was there at the Harvest Temple. I really should remember the current one, because you talk to him so much. Anyway, yeah, so that's kind of actually what's going on, and you don't really see much of that. Anyway, right, yeah, as I said earlier, the game pulls a dick move on you. Your Saw is right there. Saw's right fucking there in the explorable area with you. And he walks through the portal, and that ends the quest. And what do you know? To finish the quest, you have to speak to Saw for your reward. This also, he doesn't actually give you your next quest, though, so we won't have to do anything weird like we did last time, where I have to get the next quest before, the actual episode. So I'm going to cut it till we're at him. There's this group of ministry up ahead. Oh, no, there's not. That's only for that quest. Yeah, I thought that they usually weren't. Yeah, so I'll cut it, guys, and see you in a sec. Okay, hello, Saw, finally. You ran away. Saw says, you've done our people a great service and a great risk to yourself. My messenger informed me that the Emperor strives for a continued peace between our two people, but my faith in his ability to ensure it has been shaken. I can only hope he maintains whatever grasp he has on the Ministry of Purity's leash, for our sake and the sake of Cantha as a whole. There we go, and you get more random crap, ruby, diamond, and a lockpick there. Oh god, wait, he does give you the next quest? What? I thought it... Oh, okay guys, we're going to have to read this one as well, I'm sorry. So Saw, we'll end the episode with the next quest. Saw says, actually, how about, no, look, I'm going to accept this, and we'll just read it tomorrow, just as I read the one today. So I'll read it from my quest log. So Saw gave us that. It's called Honourable Combat, and I will see you guys tomorrow. See you later. There's not going to be a wave because I'm in a loading screen. See you later, guys.